Quick note before we start. This story involves verbal aggression. If that feels too much right now, take care of yourself. You can skip ahead or come back when you're ready. I was 13. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my stepfather, and I was so angry that my whole body was shaking. I was afraid, and yet I tried because I was so angry. I said loud and clear, "Listen to me!" And he shouted me down, just completely, so that there was no room left for what I was feeling at that moment. In that moment, a belief burned itself into me. My anger is dangerous. So I pushed it down. I pushed it down for over 20 years. The woman I was 5 years ago was the embodiment of that silence. She was like Sleeping Beauty, well-behaved, quiet, conformist, and deep in slumber inside. But this isn't a story about anger. It's a story about how I realized that I was focusing on the wrong character in that fairy tale. We always talk about Sleeping Beauty, about the girl that sleeps for 100 years waiting for someone to rescue her. And yes, we people pleasers know that, and we are like that. We wait for fate or a prince to rescue us because we've learned that we're not allowed to act for ourselves. But the dark fairy, Maleficent, she started to occupy my thoughts more and more. Because this character can actually be very helpful for people pleasers. So I started to ask some questions. What was she before she became the wicked one? She was ignored because she was too intense, too much, too powerful. Do you know why she really cast the curse? Because she was the only fairy who wasn't invited. My 13-year-old self would have sat in the corner and cried, "Why don't they like me?" Maleficent does something different. She turns up anyway. She makes her presence impossible to ignore. She shows that there's a price to pay for ignoring her. She isn't evil because she enjoys it. She is the only one in the room who knows what she wants and who acts on it. Later in the fairy tale, she creates a wall of thorns. This hedge of thorns is not an act of malice. It is a massive protective barrier for the space within it. By creating this hedge, Maleficent is saying, if you don't respect me, then you won't be able to come in here anymore. Working with characters like this is what I call character work. You borrow this character, not to curse people, but to briefly experience what it feels like to have a spine of steel. You don't have to be a people-pleasing Sleeping Beauty forever, waiting 100 years for a kiss. You can simply stand up. And when you notice yourself slipping back into that old pattern, that scanning of glances, that "Am I allowed to be here?" then call upon the characters that help you. For me, for example, there are these. First, the Raven of Rage. She can take the burning rage from the kitchen table away from me so that I can think clearly again. She's able to hold the anger for me so that it doesn't burn me. And she can transform that anger into energy that I can use for myself. I've made a separate video showing how I work with her. You can find it here. Another character I work with is my inner villainess. She's the Maleficent within us. She needs no approval. She relishes disappointing expectations because her own standards matter more than the applause of others. She raises the thorn hedge when someone tries to cross your boundaries. Here's a small ritual I want to share with you. Once a day, when you feel small, take a few deep breaths and focus inward. Then imagine you are wearing Maleficent's cloak. Feel the weight of heavy, dark velvet on your shoulders. This cloak fills the entire space behind you. You no longer scan the faces of others to see if you're intruding. You are the focal point. You are not cute. You are majestic. For 5 seconds, you are the ruler of your realm. And then watch how the world around you suddenly falls into place just because you've stopped apologizing. If you're ready to raise the protective hedge of thorns around your life and take the place that you're bloody well entitled to, write to me in the comments. I am wearing the cloak. And subscribe to this channel if you finally want to wake up your inner Sleeping Beauty.